Now I've got a very simple equation here that I need to be helped with. I'm trying to get to the value of 6. I've got two single digit numbers, 3 and 3, but I'm using the function as divide. So anyone who knows Kung Fu mathematics, that is a divide, punch punch. But I can't get to 6. Am I using the right function? Let's get into it. Hi, welcome again to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. Yeah, the equation. I'm trying to get to the value of 6. So I'm using two single digit numbers, but I'm using divide as a function. Yeah. People are trying to do the same thing and trying to get a different result. It just doesn't work. You have to change something to try and get a different result. Anyway, the function should have been addition. 3 add 3 will equal 6. Not 3 divided by 3 will equal... Anyway, forget about that analogy there. So this is my preview of Norwich City versus Arsenal. Yes, it was another draw. Worst string of runs in more than almost 40 odd years now for Arsenal. Absolutely terrible. Oh my goodness. Before I get into the preview, make sure you subscribe. There should be the button somewhere here or somewhere over here with me dancing around like that. Anyway, but make sure you subscribe to Cannon Fodder so you can receive all the latest and greatest news. Yes, right here on Cannon Fodder TV. So, yeah, so at Carrow Road, and I said the last time we played them was in 2016 in the Premier League, and we just about scraped by with a 1-0 win and goal from Danny Welbeck. This time round, it ended up being 2-2. The defence. Was it Unai Emery after all? Is it too early days? But again, if you're using the same players or the same defence in this instance, you're trying to get a different result or a different performance from the defence, you're going to get the same result. It's the same result, Freddie. I'm going to back you like I did with Unai Emery, but the impatience. We must be patient. We've got to be patient, but you've got to use different players. Mustafi, he had an okay game. If I'm going to criticise maybe two players in defence, it must be Chambers, who probably had not the best of performances this season, maybe one of his worst. I mean, again, just play for percentages. Just stop trying to, be like the Johan Cruyff in defence. Clear the ball. Do the basics first, and everything else will look after itself. And then David Luiz. I don't know if he's going to pop up somewhere over here, just about now. But David Luiz. And this is one of the differences with the defence at Liverpool and Man City. Those defenders, they're not going to be tracking back, moving back. They're going to be literally forcing the hand of the attacker and trying to force them away from the area. David Luiz, would rather give them yardage going backwards and putting the whole back four or the back two or maybe himself and the goalkeeper under so much pressure. He's not an upgrade on what we've had in the past. He's not. We need to get rid of him. We know, he was a panic buy after, the fiasco with Koscielny there, but he's not an upgrade. He's not an upgrade. So yeah, those two defenders there didn't help Freddie Ljungberg's cause there. Just when you wanted them, to have like an upturn in the performance, those players let him down big time. Lacazette was anonymous as well. He had a couple of chances that really he should have put away in the first half to at least give us, that kind of momentum. But again, with Arsenal, we find it so hard to hold on to the lead. So, when you've got a new interim coach and he's putting faith in you and you let him down, well, can he keep the same 11? Can he choose the same players? I'm not so sure. The 11 that he chose there really surprised me. Really, really surprised me. Xhaka, Guendouzi, Mustafi. What happened to Pepe? What happened to Lucas Torreira? In my preview, I said personally I would have played Martinelli. If you want to make a statement of intent, Freddie, again, I know it's your first game. You've got to show who's the boss. And unfortunately, you've got to leave out some of the so-called big players in the team. As much as I love Laka and Aubameyang, if they're not firing, even though Aubameyang scored, he got a brace. If players are not performing, they've got to be taken out. And it's not like he's just come new into the club. He's been Unai Emery's number 2 for a good while, so he should know which players really haven't been performing, and those players who have been performing. Martinelli, he came on for Mesut Ozil, and Mesut Ozil, he had an okay game. It wasn't spectacular. He was trying to string some passes together, and Kolasinac also had an okay game. It wasn't fantastic. Here's a question for you. So many times I saw Kolasinac receive the ball and his wink was clear. Take on the fullback. Take him on. And then, cross the ball at the bar line. But so many times, it's like he was scared to try, and even attempt that. And he would pass the ball back, to Ozil. Take on the defenders. Take them on. Because when we've got the ball, they don't give us any space at all. No space at all. So they got the first goal. Absolutely terrible. We should have cleared the ball. I mean, what's his name? Kuki or, Pookie? There's 3 defenders, 3 against 1, and not one of them could snuff out the threat. Again, just giving the attacker yardage. Isn't that an American football phrase? Yardage. Just, And at this point, I'm thinking, am I being too, over the top? No, I'm not. I'm not, because it's the same set of players. It's the same set of players. When you're looking for an upturn in the performance, it didn't happen. So then you've got to ask the question: is it time to bring in some of the youth players? Demote some of the first team players now. Again, Guendouzi. No, it doesn't do it for me. Doesn't do it for me. And to my brother Ralph, Guendouzi still hasn't scored a goal. Guendouzi at best is a squad player. He shouldn't be in the first team. Well, unless there's a major injury. As much as he tries his best, he's just not at the level that Arsenal requires. And then we saw, oh my goodness. That penalty, and I didn't want to see it because I thought, oh my goodness, what if Aubameyang misses or the goalkeeper saves it? And what happened? The goalkeeper did save it, but then it was encroachment, and the same player, Norwich player who encroached, cleared the ball, and of course the penalty was retaken, and we're level. We're level, and then the old memory comes back. We've been here before. Can we hold on? No, we couldn't hold on, could we? We couldn't hold on. Anyway, so ends up being 2-2. So the worst run for Arsenal in my recent memory, in more than 30 odd years, come to 40 odd years. So where do we go from here now? Where do we go from here? Yeah, we've got to give Freddie Ljungberg. We've got to give him time. We've got to give him time because again, I was all for Unai Emery to give him time. get him to try and sort out the players that we don't. And again, I still think we have that negative mentality. We started out so well today against Norwich City. We were just peppering them, but we just couldn't, score a goal. And we had chances. And so it's going to come back and bite us on the arse, isn't it? And it did. So we lie in 9th place, I believe. And I know Leicester City are currently playing. I'm not going to give you the scores. Leicester City playing, and who else? Yeah, those teams are still playing there. Oh, Sheffield United. So when you want those minute gains, putting in a tackle, tracking, the runners there, moving the ball quickly, those are the small things that mount up to the bigger picture. And if you can't do these things, how can you affect change? You're going to get the same result. Remember, 3 divided by 3 doesn't equal 6. You've got to change something. 3 plus 3 will equal 6. Again, just getting back to that analogy with, yeah. So, a message to Freddie Ljungberg, I love you. I've always supported Unai Emery, but you've got to change something. We don't have a captain. Well, we have a captain, figuratively speaking, because Aubameyang's win the captain armband, but he's not the captain for me. Lacazette is gone off the ball. I don't know what's happened to Lacazette. He looks like a man lost, even though he scored a brace last week. You would have thought, right, come on, let me try and impress the new interim coach, because maybe he could be the long-term coach. But these guys just let everyone down again. Again, for me, just scrap the back four, start afresh. For me, the only player or the only defender who should start, for me, is Kieran Tierney. He has the potential to be a captain of Arsenal. He is not scared, to get stuck in there. He looks like a good organizer. He's got a good head on the shoulders there. So for me, in the defence, the only one player who can really cement his place there should have been Tierney. I think maybe the only excuse for him not to have played today, maybe because he played on Thursday. Maybe he's feeling a little bit tired. But then why did David Luiz play? I thought he was injured with a rib problem. But anyhow, that's my rant over. I'm very sorry, guys. Yeah. And the thing is, I've got to say, I wasn't really looking forward to the match. No, I wasn't. Because I was thinking, as much as I want Arsenal to win, I just couldn't, envisage it or really, really believe it. And lo and behold, we drew 2-2. Anyhow, so this has been my preview, short but sweet, I think, or maybe actually it's quite long. I'm very sorry. Anyhow, you've been wondering who or what you've been watching. You've been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And the first point for Freddie Ljungberg's regime.